This video starts with an I, as in the Roman numeral for 1, because it's part 1 of the Ryan wants to be vegan. So, what is up with this craziness video?
No, I'm just kidding.
She's mean to me. Okay, so, basically, just so I had some insurance against making sure that I want to mention everything that I want to mention. So, Hannah actually has my laptop down here, and so I have questions that I prepared for myself, and I ran them by her, and it's just to help me make sure that I mention everything that I want to mention. So this is part 1. This is why choose to be vegan.
Or why are you choosing to be vegan, basically?
Right. It's where, like, you're asking, like, Ryan, why choose to be vegan when we have bacon and deliciousness? And so this video...
Because he does eat beef bacon.
Pardon me. Yes, I do.
It's delicious.
Currently.
It's really good.
I tried making eggplant bacon. That was slimy and disgusting and nasty.
Probably get into that in the recipes video, though.
Yeah, I can talk more about that. I mean, that's really all there. Anyway, so let's begin, shall we?
All right, so the first question that he has so graciously typed out on the computer.
Keep in mind, too, the light bullet points are things that I want to make sure I mention, so you don't have to read those to me as the question.
Okay. Organization. So the first one that he is just going to kind of answer is some people decide on veganism because of animal rights. And PETA promotes veganism a lot. Obviously, most people know that. Some people decide on veganism for health reasons or to fight global warming. What are your reasons for deciding to be a vegan?
So a lot of it is the plant-based diet. There's some people who claim to be vegan, and that's like they tie the specific word vegan to the animal rights. And then there's other people who follow the same dietary restrictions or give themselves the same options of the plants and the fruits and the vegetables, all that. But it's not for the animals and the animal rights. So they, instead of calling themselves vegan, they said they follow a plant-based diet. And so, you know, I say veganism to be quick and clear, kind of. But really it's more a plant-based diet. Partly because of, it's going to lower my carbon footprint. Because one of the common arguments is, well, you know, the plants are the ones that absorb the greenhouse gases and make oxygen out of it, so if you eat those, then wouldn't that make it worse? But actually, livestock will produce methane, as well as it actually takes a lot more plant matter to create meat products and sustain the livestock. So even if plants could feel, or we were worried about sustaining the plants, it actually takes less plant matter if you eat a strictly plant-based diet. So it lowers your carbon footprint a lot when you do that. Additionally, a lot of the family history that I'm facing, not the longest lived people and not the healthiest people. Additionally, living in the United States, there's a lot of added sugar. There is a lot of diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, and a lot of that can be attributed to the very fatty, very animal products heavy diet that we follow, a lot of the processed foods, so a lot of the vegans will promote the whole foods plant-based diet, where instead of eating processed foods, instead of eating out all the time, it's I'm gonna go to the produce section and get a head of lettuce and eat the lettuce, unprocessed foods. And
that's not even to mention, just like I grew up on a farm. My family raised cattle and chickens. If you guys saw our other video, poor Ryan, we used to raise chickens, and he obviously doesn't like chickens, but chickens, turkeys, we had goats, we had lots of different stuff, and so I know a lot about kind of like the meat industry and stuff. And regardless of the fact that I eat meat, the meat industry in the United States is really bad. The hormones that they put in it and the way the animals are treated and stuff, it is really, really bad. And if I was being completely honest, if I wasn't so picky, I maybe would like to go vegan one day too, but I'm really picky, so that is not going to be happening anytime soon. But yeah, it's just even more kind of reason, especially when you're living in the United States, to go ahead and just, you know, cross that off the list of things that you want to eat.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I look at, like, physically, I take after my dad's side of the family. My dad's dad died when he was 59, and it was due to an aneurysm, which research shows can be tied to smoking. And so that's, you know, I don't smoke and I don't drink, and that's part of the reason is I want to avoid the strokes and the aneurysms and something like that. My dad's mom also died when I think I was 7. I believe she was 60 or 70, but I think it was 60, and I know that I asked them recently and they said it. I don't remember it. I'm sorry if you're watching. But that's something that happened. Let's see here real quick. What else did I want to make sure that I said?
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so just general life expectancy, I think, is really what I'm trying to go for with taking care of myself. Not smoking, not drinking, and plant-based diet.
So, okay, so that kind of covers his first question that he has listed here. So the second is, why not, like, you guys probably wonder, like, why is he not just going to be a vegetarian? Like, you know, because if he's not in it really for the animal rights, you know, why not cut out just animal, like, why not just cut out meat instead of all animal products?
Yeah, and so a lot of that, and I think this is going to address another question as well, is I was going to become vegetarian. And then I started cooking a vegetarian meal one day, and I was letting YouTube go in the background, and YouTube's algorithm decided to feed me a bunch of vegetarian videos, which turned into feeding me vegan videos. And of course, I'm across the room at the time, so I can't.
And then he found himself on the weird part of YouTube, because that's what happens when you just let YouTube run.
Yeah, something like
just
that.
Just kidding.
So,
I mean, that's true, but.
So it wound up at this like hour-and-a-half speech with this guy, and I could probably have looked it up, but and he went through this whole spiel about the arbitrariness of which animals we eat and don't eat. But there was also a point there where it started talking about the dairy industry. And being Muslim, we have halal slaughter, so I do believe that there's a respectful way to raise an animal where it's okay to raise it for meat and that. Like that, I think that's fine. It's called livestock. And so you speciesist vegans, haha, I don't care. But what really got me messed up...
Bring the hate comments on! We could do a hate comment video, that would be hilarious.
So, really, the dairy industry is what terrifies me. Once I learned the way the dairy industrial complex operates, even if you can look past the artificial insemination, the separation of calf from cow is what really got me messed up, and I don't want to be a part of that because that's really, really cruel, and that's the reason why I'm like, okay, I really want to cut out dairy. Meat for my health, dairy for the ethics, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, what kind of foods can vegans eat, or people such as yours truly right here? Yeah,
so, generally, when you go vegan, you say no animal products. So no meat, so no beef, chicken, pork, turkey, or chicken, which I didn't eat pork already. But they also cut out dairy, any animal products. So no eggs, butter, milk, cheese, which cheese is a really hard one to avoid, especially in the United States.
And when you're around me so frequently.
Yeah, so, but we can eat fruits and vegetables, which if you start trying to name off all the fruits in the world and all the vegetables in the world, you're going to be there all day. We can also obviously eat seeds and nuts, legumes, so beans, anything like that. What else do I have on here? Yeah, so fruits, grains, so rice, bread, cereal, granola. So once you actually start listing out all the things that you can still eat, it's actually a really long list still. You know, just by eliminating 5 ingredients off your list, your list of things you do cook with explodes, is what it forces me to do.
So, this is kind of an interesting question, I think, and if you guys don't already know, Ryan is Muslim. If it's not already up, he's going to be doing a video on that soon, but it'll probably go up before this one does. So if you want to know more about that, check out that video. I'll link it below. But is veganism compatible with Islam?
As long as you avoid the alcohol. because veganism takes care of the pork for you. And the usual other dietary restriction is, it's no pork, no alcohol. And there's a couple other weird things in there, but those are the main things to look for and avoid. And as long as you are not...
Wait, and I want to preface that because that sounds a little bit confusing. What he means by that is as you've been looking in grocery shopping and stuff, we've kind of noticed that there's alcohol and things that we didn't expect.
Right. And the alcohol cooks out. I did my research on that because I thought that was the case, and it turns out to not actually be the case. Not nearly as much of it cooks out as you think. And so depending on what school of thought, I'm not going to get into that here. But the main thing is you avoid the pork, you avoid the alcohol, you're all right. And so you don't have, if you're not eating meat, then you don't have to worry about, okay, is this halal slaughtered meat? If you're choosing to do that. Well, I'm not eating meat at all. Plants are in game. The Quran says how to make meat permissible for consumption. It does not require that you eat meat.
Yeah.
It says you can, but you don't have to. So yes, it is compatible with Islam when you avoid the alcohol.
Okay. Aren't you worried that all the fresh produce is going to make grocery shopping more expensive? And this is, I feel like, a big misconception.
If you're living in a food desert, I think that would be really, really easy to think. But if you're going for the whole foods plant-based diet, then it's actually really, really cheap. I get a whole thing of head of romaine, and it's like $1.50.
Yeah.
And that's... And, you get dry beans, dry rice. It's $1.50, $2, but it's several servings worth.
Mm-hmm. So what vitamins and minerals do you not get on a vegan diet that you kind of have to supplement? Well, not really actually vitamin supplements, but
what I have to be careful of.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I have to be careful of that I've been noticing is you got to keep an eye on your calcium, your B6, your B12, and your iron and your omega-3. Now, if you're eating leafy greens like kale and spinach, your calcium and your iron are going to take care of themselves. I'm on a couple of vegan support groups online as well, and I actually was asking about omega-3. Seems to be differing opinions about the omega-3. Some people say you can take an algae-based supplement and that can get you that. Because there's some form that we can't convert. But otherwise, chia seeds and flax seeds are apparently really, really easy ways to get at least 2 forms of the omega fatty acids that we need. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's going to be tricky to get the amounts that you need. For B6 and B12, you can get those through fortified milk alternatives. So soy milk or even an enriched cashew milk if you're trying to avoid the hormonal issues of too much soy. Although, my thing is, if you're worried about, soy messes with your hormones, yeah, so do all the hormones that they put in all the meat you're eating.
Yeah. He's got a couple of questions here. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes, but
we got 2 minutes.
I think just maybe talk about the YouTube day.
I already talked about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about Dr. Milton Mills. I'm still doing my research on him to decide whether he's credible. He was in one of the vegan documentaries that I mean to maybe watch at some point. And he talks about how, he says that humans are natural herbivores, which I would probably want to talk about in a different video. I could probably extend this video to another part if I really wanted to. But he is kind of my authority on veganism and plant-based diet and health right now. I'm still doing my research. I'm still verifying his claims.
So if anyone knows, comment below. Let us know.
And then other vegans that I've looked at are That Vegan Couple, Caitlin Shoemaker was another one. Who else? Now I'm drawing a blank on them, but vegan documentaries that I've seen, Forks Over Knives, or that I've heard of, Forks Over Knives, What the Health, Vegan 2017. I thought it was just going to be called Vegan and come out next year, but apparently that's not the case. And Cowspiracy. And there's actually one called Earthlings, but I've heard it's really disturbing, and I don't know if I'm going to watch it.
I might watch it.
Right.
I don't know why it's the weirdest thing. I'm the one that still eats meat, but for some reason these videos, it doesn't, I don't know, I'm just weird. It doesn't bother me. That's really bad.
All right, so I hope that this has been really insightful for you guys. We're going to end this part here. We might extend this with an extra little bit, but thanks for joining me today while I explain myself, young man. Yeah, so thank you very much, and I hope that this has been informative and helps you. And questions, ask me.